So return to learn is a process after an athlete suffers a head injury and has a concussion, where the school system is able to help that athlete return back to all of their academic classes prior to them returning to their full sports. And this actually is after a concussion has been identified and the athlete is going to be restarting school, which is usually about 48 hours after their head injury. We know with a concussion and with sports that you need to be back to your full mental state before we can get you back to your sport safely. If you think about the things that you do when you are in school versus the things you do when you're in sports, it's basically amplified, such as making sure that you can read your plays correctly, making sure you can interact with the other players on your team, making sure that your reaction time is appropriate. All of those things need to be there ahead of time before you can return to your sport. So in Return to Learn, a student's school should have a point person for the Return to Learn process. And that point person might be an athletic trainer, it could be a guidance counselor, maybe the school nurse. And what I like to see our schools do is actually send an email out to all of that student athlete's teachers, just letting them know that that student athlete has suffered a head injury. And for the first week, it's really up to the student athlete to communicate with their teachers to let them know when things in class are difficult for them. And that might be different for different student athletes. Some athletes may need help with pre-printed notes. Some athletes may have difficulty with computers. Some athletes may have difficulty with lighting and may need a dark room or wearing sunglasses. And it may be class specific, so they can communicate with their teachers directly. And then after a week, if there needs to be a more advanced educational plan, then the school can help the student athlete with that as they're recovering from their head injury. Basically, Return to Learn means that an athlete is in classes full-time. They aren't needing any accommodations outside of what would be their normal. I always ask athletes if they have any accommodations ahead of time or learning disabilities, so we make sure that we know what their baseline is specifically. And they need to be really back to their grade level that they would normally expect. So if they're typically getting A's or B's in a class, we would expect them to be back at that same level of A's or B's.